Hey, reviews.
Back up in here, yo.
How did Shazam end?
They had dinner.
Pretty much.
Like they had dinner as a family.
So technically, this is where we normally go over the ending of the film, as well as major plot points and some Easter eggs.
Spoilers.
So, like you said, they technically just have dinner. There are two, like a mid-credit and an end-credit scene. The first one is basically, there's like the ending of the film, right? I won't say they just have dinner. They go to school, somehow get permission to all have lunch at the same time.
Yes.
Because they're all have Shazam powers that basically reinvigorate the missing wizards, and they all end up with the powers of Shazam. And he comes to school finally to like show everybody that one of the kids, the kid that with the crutch or crutches, with the bad leg, basically, that he's friends with Shazam.
Yes.
And he brings
a
friend. Superman. But they don't show him from the chest up. Like, they don't show his head, basically. So
they see the
it could be anyone, really. Yeah. So we're not sure if it's Henry Cavill or not. It's probably not.
No.
Not credited for the film at all. So, and then, after that, it shows Mark Strong's character, who has been hauled off to jail, who no longer has magical powers because Shazam pulls out his like crazy demon eye.
Yes.
And he hears like an ominous voice talking about like there's other ways to obtain power, magic in the universe.
Yes.
And it's like a little caterpillar type looking insect thing in a cell talking to him, which they show the first time Mark Strong's character as a child is teleported to the Wizard Shazam. And then the only other time they reference it again is when Billy Batson's character is teleported there after.
And you see it's missing.
Yep. From Mark Strong's character being there and the 7 deadly sins like kind of wreaking a little quick havoc inside the place. And the little jar is broken and he's not there. And then so apparently he's free. For comic book characters, they'll know, or comic book fans, sorry, they'll know who he is. It's Mr. Mind.
Yes.
Apparently the alien worm genius. So that could be pretty big going forward for the DC's movie universe. Now, how do you feel about them having the Shazam family be in this instead of it just being Shazam?
Oh, it was a good twist at the end. They threw the family in there. They all kind of have powers. They all kind of fought together. It was a nice twist. Just come out of nowhere and it's like bam, the whole Shazam family.
Were you expecting it?
Was not expecting it.
I think for me that's kind of what took it. I'm like, oh, if you had this a little sooner, actually, I might have like enjoyed the film just a smidge more, right? What do you think?
Probably a little more to see them use the powers even a little more, but it was still cool where they came in at, and it's like, oh, I have powers now. I can do this. I can do that. Which is kind of like the whole kind of movie was about him using his powers. So
yeah. So I thought it was good to like when Megan Good's character Darla when she gets older, she's like, I'm fast. You try to explode me.
Yeah. And then like the fact they're all still kids because she saved Santa and she's like, you're Santa.
She's like, I want this for Christmas. Right. So it's kind of interesting that they all have adult bodies, but still have all their childlike minds. So very interesting. I won't say it's super close to the comics from what I understand, but it's pretty good. I mean, I don't think a lot of these movies have to be by the book for the comics, as long as it has a majority of like the main plot points.
Yeah,
I think
the feel to it, and then if you're making it fun and entertaining, that's fine. It's a whole difference if you make it like strictly to the book, but then there's no fun and no entertainment to it.
Yeah.
Then it's like, well, yeah, it's accurate, but it wasn't enjoyable to watch.
So for you, would you say this kind of like takes the film up a notch from where it was when you were watching it before?
Yeah, it did actually. When they brought the family, I was like, okay, I like this. This is nice. I mean, now you're interested to see where they go from here moving forward. And, when they do a next one, there probably will be another one.
The other big semi reveal that they have in there is when Shazam is retelling his story to Billy Batson, and you actually see CGI The Rock as Black Adam, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like a la Scorpion King, right?
Yeah.
Where they or the Mommy, right? Where they show like the Scorpion King or whatever, the real brief, but it's a CGI of Black Adam. You can totally tell it's like basically designed based off The Rock. So that for sure is still coming in the works. Whether or not it will be considered a sequel or just a Black Adam film, all on its own, with Shazam characters, still yet to be remain. Very possible though. So it does confirm that for sure. Now, what do you think about the magic? Like how they explain magic in here? Do you think that was good, bad?
I mean, they explained it, but they didn't really go into like detail.
The Rock of Eternity.
They didn't really go into detail fully of magic. Like you see him give him powers, but that's like the only real time you really see the magic. Besides that one little fight. When Mark Strong's character gets his powers.
Mm-hmm.
And other than that, like you really don't see more actual magic used. Besides saying Shazam, you see the lightning bolt.
Yep.
But other than that, there was not really a huge explanation. Like, oh yeah, we have magic, and magic's been around, and we use magic. Okay, but you don't really fully understand that from what they're going about.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see because they've introduced the Rock of Eternity, and technically in a lot of the comic book telling, technically when the wizard gives away his powers, like he's still around or he's present, or sometimes he has like transferred his powers into something else. Like they show imagery of tigers quite a bit, and in the comic, as well as even in the animated DC movie, the tiger is technically like almost like his like kind of like calling card or like a guardian spirit type of thing. So it'll be interesting to see what they end up doing with that, if they work that in at all. I like the reference of 7, right? So 7 deadly sins, the number 7, 7 signs, or 7 symbols, I should say.
Yeah, when Strong's character breaks into the door, he has to do the symbol 7 times for the actual access.
Yep. And then since I watched it twice, I got to kind of pick up on the fact that when he goes to find his mom finally, it's kind of like doom impending, like something bad is gonna happen, like he's not gonna have a good time, because they actually show 7 sevens on his way to the door. So there's when he comes off the elevator, it shows he's on the 7th floor, and so 7th elevator has a number out there. He walks past a fire extinguisher in a case. It has a 7 on there, and then he walks past a door, which is 708, on the opposite side of his mom's door, and that door number, apartment number, is 707. So interesting. So 7 sevens now, what did you think about that? I was like, damn, yo, she didn't want him.
Yeah, he spent like his whole life trying to find his mom, and then he found his mom, and mom was like, oh.
I kind of thought they could raise you better, so I just left you with the popo.
Left you with the police, that they do a better job. And he's like, look, I brought you this. And she's like, what is this? I have no clue what you're even bringing.
It's the last thing you ever gave me.
Yeah, and she's just like, oh, I don't even know what
he's
you
like, you need it more than I do, I can see.
And she's like, I was expecting her to just be like,
yeah, she like held on to it. You could tell she was like, does this mean something? Is it supposed to have symbolism for me? So that was interesting. Anything else you want to reveal for spoilers?
Spoiler wise, I mean, first part of the movie is just with him just testing out
powers.
Powers.
How do you think they did with the powers? Because we can talk about that freely now. I didn't want to say anything during the original.
They did a good job in terms of bringing up his powers. The only thing I thought was weird was the whole first half of the movie. They basically brought his whole lightning, and the final battle he doesn't use it, except for one time. They actually set apart where they fire each other, it does an explosion, and that's the only time he uses it. The only time in battles, like the whole time in battle, he never uses lightning. I'm like, you've been overusing this lightning like the entire movie.
Lightning from my hands.
Yeah.
Lightning from.
He has a song that he's using lightning, and then when he gets to the final battle, he just totally forgets he has this power. And I'm like, why aren't you using lightning on any of these guys that are coming at you at all, whatsoever?
I don't know. And the CGI for the creatures, like the sins, probably could have been a little better. Wasn't too bad. But to your point though, he could have used that when he found out that physical attacks weren't working.
Yeah, he kept like trying to swing and punch, and I'm like, lightning. You're not gonna try to lightning him at all? Okay, you're just gonna keep ignoring the fact that you have that power.
Probably would work since he mentioned that like magic works on them and like physical stuff.
And then later on, when he fights him, he actually goes Shazam to get him with a lightning bolt. I'm like, but why didn't you actually just hit him with a lightning bolt?
Yeah, so a lot of the film is pretty much him trying to become accustomed to the powers and learn how to use them properly.
Yeah.
So definitely, I think in the sequel, which I think this one will probably get for sure, whether or not it's a direct tie into Black Adam or not, or if that's going to be the sequel, he definitely will be more accustomed to his powers and more comfortable for sure. As well as I'm sure the other members of the Shazam family will be as well. So
it was like a lot of his powers he kind of like used early, and then it kind of like as it got old in the movie, it's just him basically his strength and flying.
Mm-hmm.
Like he didn't really use his speed, didn't use his lightning. And I'm like, well, why do you spend the entire movie build up the fact that he has all these powers? And then in the movie just goes, we don't need those.
And then also too, I do want to point out that he does have the stamina of Atlas, basically, right? So in essence, because this has been a heated discussion in comic book land before, if him and Superman were to fight, neither one would really get tired, since Superman doesn't sweat and it has like ridiculous stamina as well. And in this film, you see Billy Batson, Shazam's character, like appear to be tired, but that's kind of one of those Matrix moments where he's like, "Is that air you're breathing?"
Yeah.
Right? Because like he thinks he's tired because he's been physically hit and whatnot, but he's technically not exhausted or tired. It's just a mental state because he's not certain. Just like he technically has super hearing, but when him and Mark Strong are like far apart in the air, he's like, "What? What are you saying? Huh? I can't hear some whole bad guy speech."
He's big speech right now. I can't hear you. And he's talking to him first. And he's like, I don't think you hear each other. Screw it. Just fight.
And he just flies up, yeah. So, as time goes on, he'll develop that and figure out that I have super hearing as well. Right? So that should be interesting to see how they kind of work that in to show what he has learned or hasn't learned in the next film. So I kind of look forward to that.
Souped up Shazam.
And then last but not least, interesting on the storytelling spectrum where the villain has daddy issues.
Yes.
And then the hero has mommy issues.
Yes.
So very big contrast there. Good matchup, I would say. Could you see anyone else being cast as either of the two?
Could I? Yeah.
I'll put you on the spot, right?
Yeah, that's a spot. That's real. I mean, I technically could. Off the top of my head, I can't just really think of someone. But I'm like, originally, I thought Rock would do a good job as Shazam, even though he's Black Adam.
All by himself, right?
All by himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So either one, I'm like, okay. When we first got, I was like, Rock would have been good as Shazam.
Not only that, but now that we know that they had the Shazam family, it would have just made like so much more sense, right?
Yeah.
So would have been cool. I think Armie Hammer probably would have been decent. Although I think he probably would have made a really good Aquaman.
Yeah.
But I could see him being Shazam as well. Yeah. So any other spoilers you want to share on this one?
I think we pretty much got through
Easter eggs, maybe?
a lot of it. I mean, I've only seen it once, so if any more you caught, because you saw it twice.
Yeah. Just a lot of the tiger imagery. You'll notice that he likes tigers as a kid. Yeah. He has a tiger on his backpack when he's a teenager. And then
he gives a tiger to that little girl at the end. It's like,
also, you'll notice in the film that Freddy, the kind of like foster brother that he has, who's 100% like superhero crazy.
Yeah.
He does manage to wear, if you look throughout the movie, every day he manages to wear a different hero shirt.
But he wears Aquaman twice.
Yes, he does. And then he even has a Wonder Woman shirt that's kind of concealed, but it's on the last day he's having lunch. It is a Wonder Woman shirt. It has the sword and the double.
Yeah, and he has a Superman backpack.
Yep. And he technically does have the Superman authentic souvenir bullet.
And then the Batarang.
And the Batarang replica. So that's interesting that in his universe or this universe that superheroes 100% exist. Everyone is familiar with the Justice League pretty much, and all those ridiculous things that
And they have merchandise.
And they have merchandise. Which is funny because he throws that one and says, "I'm Batman."
Yeah,
right?
He throws the Batman, so I was like, yeah.
And Mark Strong's character, which is pretty funny, as well as a Barbie.
Yes. Yes. If Batman didn't work, Barbie's gonna work.
And it's kind of funny too because this is a villain where he's like, "Dude, you're a kid. Stop acting like a kid." Oh, you're a kid.
Yeah.
You are actually a kid. Okay, cool. Well, give me your powers.
Give me your powers because you're a kid. You
You
don't
don't
have
deserve
confidence.
them.
Yeah, you have the confidence to actually beat me. I wasn't worthy, but now you're worthy as a kid. So.
Yeah, so he's a little PO'd about that. So I thought that was kind of interesting to make it like the jealous, like greedy villain.
The last sin was in him the entire, which is envy. He was envious the fact that he didn't get the Shazam powers.
Yep. Good call on that too. That was something I picked up as well. That's kind of a running thing throughout. Like he doesn't want to let go of all the sins that are in him because he'll be powerless basically.
Yeah, so he always kept envy inside him at all times.
Yep. So I think we'll go ahead and close it out here.
Yes.
And then like, comment, subscribe.
Share it to everybody.
We appreciate all the love, the new followers. We love you. Thank you. Anyone, remember, if you leave a comment, good or bad, we read them and we still appreciate them because it helps us grow as a channel.
That's right.
Until next time, peace.